Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Wednesday, December 25th, 2024. Some of you may even call this and celebrate Christmas. That's why we're coming together as a family, as friends, and cohorts interested in UFO disclosure. We're going to come together, hang out. Not going to be a completely long show today, but you know what? I figured it was worth it going ahead in my usual tradition and bringing together everyone on such a wonderful day. On that note, let me go ahead and pop in. Oh, wrong one. Hello, Freezer Man. Let's go ahead and let's welcome in our chat. I gotta fix this camera one of these days. It's too low. My head's getting too big. One way or the other. On that note, let me get rid of that. Let me spike up the drums. Turn up the drums. All right, let's see who the heck we have out there in our audience today. A Husk is here along with a non-YouTube account. Anton Ghost is around along with attorney to the EBEs. He's usually never here watching the show live. Wow, I am blessed. A Husk just popped up along with Austin Gilbert. We have AVM all the way from India. Becky Barrel is here. Let's welcome Blue Rooster, Cindy Feelhaller. Whatever, I'm sorry, Cindy. I'll just call you Cindy. Craig Smith is here along with Cypher75. Daniel Bogusowski. Bogus, dude. I think I have a Bogus in here somewhere. I'll play that next time. Daniel Gann is here along with David Forney. We got Donna Fitzpatrick, Drift Speed. We got Eric Roth and the Gurus along with Ernie. Good to see you, Ernie. Fernando Suazo is here. Good to see you, Fernando. We got Fire in the Window. Frida is around, along with Fry Guy. Jan is here. Good to see you. Thank you for that wonderful picture today, Jan. Merry Christmas to you. John Mooner's here, along with Johnny UFO. We got Josephine Ferrantino. Good to see you, Joseph. Kelly Broughton, her piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. Got ahead of myself in a little bit that one. We got Kiwis Road. Clipper is here along with Cody. Little's around along with Louis V. We got Maritime Unprepared. Marcus and the Mandels. Marty Kin is here along with Marvin the Martian. We've got Moon Pie, Mr. Joey B. Nancy Kuzmano. Good to see you, Nancy. We got Omar Alia. Good to see you, Omar. A Miss Medieval 666 or Miss Medieval 66, not 6, but close enough, just showed up. We got Overlander BC is here along with Peggy and her South Florida friends. That would be, well, Crockett and Tubbs and Steve. Would you look at that? We've got Rachel Osborne. Rainstorm Hunter is here along with Rebecca. Good to see you, Rebecca. Renan is here along with Rough Reddy. Sage Sleuth, Sam Wallace. These Sam Wallace? Oh my gosh. Sander Judd is here. Let's take a look. We got Scott Mello just popped up, Mr. Kodo himself. We got Shonda 20, Shelly Montgomery. Good to see you, Shelly. Shinobi 1 Kenobi is here along with Solaris 142. How about that? We got Sprightly Sprites, Gemstone, Crystal, Mineral Magic, the longest name in chat. Let's welcome Steel Cole, Stefan. We got Stephen Forbes. Or Stephen Forbes, I'll say it right. Tamisha Bertrand, all the way from Washington State. We got the Chromosome Cowboy, Thingamajig. Tom Turney is here along with Tony Boo. We also have Tony D, Toxic Revenger. Oh. Someone get a son a horse. We got V Marie, Viper Tech. We got Warrior Class USA. Xerex is here. And pulling up the rear, we've got Yankee 58. How about that? But sometimes, friends, it's not just the people who are in the back. Sometimes it's the people who are in the chat. There we go. The music got moved to the wrong spot. Let's go ahead and welcome in. Let's see who's in the back. Well, since he's there already, you've already seen him once. You'll see him again. Let's welcome in Mr. Freezerman 71. How's it going, Freezerman?
Going good, Thomas. Great to see you guys.
Great to see you as well. We also have another one of our friends, and another CBUSMC. Welcome, CB.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, sir. Have a great one.
Merry Christmas. Also coming in to us from the city that never sleeps. That's in Bangkok, Thailand. Let's welcome in Corporal Abe. How's it going, Abe?
Hey, Merry Christmas from the far, far east. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays, my friend. Coming to us from the the Southwest, let's welcome in our dear friend, Mr. Ed Brown. How's it going, Ed?
Hello, Thomas. It's going real well. I ate too much turkey tonight, but think we're going to get through. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Nice. I ended up having a nice roast beef, so yeah, sounds really good, my friend. Also in the back, we've got a man coming from the country where all the U's are silent. Let's welcome in Michael Sokoloff. How's it going, Michael?
It's going good, Thomas. We're going to have a good old Christmas show today, eh?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can have one of those. Merry Christmas again, my friend. Let's also welcome in Mohammed. He's back again, ready to take some more damage. No, not really. Welcome back, Mohammed. Great to have you here.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Well, we've got another friend. If you turn the world upside down and shake it like a snow globe, who's going to pop out of Australia? I could say it's none of your business, but it's actually Susan Ford. Susan, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, Thomas. Thanks. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Not you. Oh, if we go, I just call me.
You're naughty. You're naughty, bro.
Susan.
Did you get anything or did you get coal?
Oh, you got some coal, but I have to say, where are you sitting? Is that a roll of toilet paper off to the side?
No, it's not toilet paper. I'm sitting in my office.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we all call it the office. Yeah, where's Tom? Always off in the office or the library, so we'll know next time. Also, thank you, Susan. You gotta have a good one. I haven't laughed so hard today, but it's at your expense, but I appreciate you being here, Susan. Oh, let's welcome in our next friend. Let's welcome in Razor Beam. How's it going, Razor Beam?
Good. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, my friend. Good to have you around. And rounding up the last of our back chat almost. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and welcome in TVT. How's it going, TVT?
Hey, guys. Good. Had a Merry Christmas. I hope everybody else did, too. And welcome to the show. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, if I can get my mouse to play along with me here, let's turn that off, turn it up, and welcome in our dear friend, Officer Stadenko of the Narcotics Squadron. Well, not really, but close enough. Let's welcome in our very own Mike Disclosure, our ace reporter and producer in the back. Thank you for coming in today, my friend Mike.
Oh, my pleasure, Thomas. I wouldn't have missed this for the world. This is our Christmas holiday show for the audience, and we're going to have a interesting conversation for everybody for the holidays, and maybe some interesting news as well. We'll see. It's going to be fun.
You never know where it's going to go, my friend. You never know who's going to wind up on the couch next to you some days. What am I talking about? Oh, let me move it down a little bit. Yeah, I like bringing this one out once a year. It's kind of one of my Lou Elizondo, prop him up like a piece of cardboard. And would you look at that? He's got E.T. next to him on the couch for the holidays. Isn't that nice?
Oh, lovely. E.T. phone home. There you go, baby.
Yeah,
that's an oldie but a
absolutely. Gotta have fun with it, my friend. Gotta have fun with it. So, yeah, this is one of those days where there's not a lot of things going on in Disclosure, but this is kind of our way to give back to our audience for everything that they've given us over the last year, my friend.
It is, and keep them informed and up to date on all the events as they occur, and also have an interesting conversation for everybody.
Yeah.
Holiday show. Holiday cheer.
That's what it's about. That's what I guess we could almost call it an AMA because our content, I do have a couple videos we can go ahead and play, but our content is mostly MIA today.
Which is fine due to the holidays. Everybody's been busy, preparing and stuff, gift giving. So yeah, this is just going to be an old-fashioned conversation for everyone. That's all.
Yep. Now, we've got a video coming to us from Twitter that was pointed out to us by Tamisha Bertrand. Thank you, Tamisha. I think this is the one you sent me because it was on the link with your name on it. And it's from Twitter. And it says drone and orbs over the Bronx in New York. Most definitely a drone, plus what seems like some orbs in the distance. The Bronx, New York City. I first spotted a drone hovering, then noticed orbs a few minutes later. I went out to my balcony to smoke, was facing east on December 24th, yesterday, Christmas Eve at 8:40 p.m. I have several videos of this. Mike, how many people live in the Bronx or New York City for that matter? A lot, millions, right? You're muted, my friend, if you're trying to talk. Did we lose Mike?
No, sorry about that. I got momentarily distracted. What was the question?
How many people live in New York?
10 million residents in New York, give or take.
Yeah.
Very, very condensed.
So if there was a major sighting going on with a lot of orbs in the sky, we should have a ton of videos on this.
Oh, with cell phones?
Not just one.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. The reason I'm bringing this up is there has been so much engagement farming going on Twitter and on TikTok and Instagram, where people are taking videos from other people, posting them up, changing the date when it potentially took place, and then calling it out as something else. While this could be real, I just want to go ahead and just preface that it's getting harder and harder to tell, Mike, what's real and what's not. First of all, is there snow on the ground in the Bronx right now?
There was a light coating of snow from the other day, but most of it is melted. So, no, I wouldn't say there's snow on the ground currently.
Gotcha. Because I know there's a little bit of snow on the ground in this picture. Let me go ahead and play it for our audience. I'll go ahead and sees the light in the distance there. Then as he's looking, goes off to the right. And we've got what looks like...
The fuck?
Oh, yeah, let's get rid of that. A bunch of little lights up in the sky. It's hard to know what we could be looking at. It could be a drone show, potentially. It could be something else. But it's definitely hard to tell what we're dealing with just because there's so many easy ways to fake this stuff lately. So if we're seeing something like this, potentially it could be one thing or the other. So don't get your hopes up on what we're seeing is, well, that could be a drone or that could be a plane coming into land. It's hard to tell these days. Now, those big drones, the sightings have gone down from up from, what do you call it, 150 a night down to one per evening, at least in the state of New Jersey. So the overall sightings that have been happening have been going down. Now, Tony D says, could it be Chinese lanterns? That is a possibility, isn't it, Mike? Because look how many are, they're all, wait a second, all the little drones are coming up from right here at this particular location. We see more and more popping up. Would be having to wonder, where are all those drones coming from? So maybe we could be looking at something along the lines of people setting off a whole bunch of Chinese lanterns. Yeah, John Pilgrim is saying, still plenty of orbs in Texas. Gizmo is saying, I must say, I'm droned out. Yeah, it did get kind of deep and repetitive after a while, Mike. And I think the overall, if you want to call it, interest in drones has dropped tremendously.
Well, one of the reasons that I can see for that is because the government has not provided any information whatsoever to elected officials locally or the public. At one point, when this has been dragging on for weeks on end, people get tired of hearing it, especially if they know there's going to be no specific answers to answer their questions. They get tired of it. Like you said, it gets repetitive.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. It's one of those things you almost want to look back at this time and say, holy cow, what are all the different things that went on? Now, I did find a montage clip of close encounters of the drone kind. It's a montage of a lot of things that have happened over the last month or so. So this comes to us from our friends, I believe, over at Fox News is where he found this one. Someone had a link to another story, but this actually got downloaded on its own. So let's go ahead and play this, and we'll reflect on it and enjoy the broadcast. Here we go, everybody.
Either from their front porch or their car window. And everyone wants to know the same thing. What the heck is going on up there? Theories abound, and many of them reveal uncertainty. Not just about whatever's hovering over their houses, but also about the government, their security, their future. Americans are looking up at the blinking lights and trying to connect the dots. Have they discovered a threat that our government didn't know about? Or worse yet, a threat that our government knows about and isn't telling us about? Or is this simply a social media contagion, amplified by 24-hour news and seized upon by some grandstanding politicians and bungled by bureaucratic non-answers from the Biden administration?
This is a video of the Morris County drones with characteristic triangle lights.
The first sightings of mysterious drones hovering over the Garden State came this fall.
Correspondent Nate Foy reporting live from Morristown, New Jersey.
One hot spot, Morristown, New Jersey.
So the frustration and concern are growing here in New Jersey. It's now been 3 weeks where these drones have been seen nearly every single night, with the exception of Thanksgiving.
Chris Russo serves on the Morristown Council.
I had not seen them myself. Obviously, elected officials are taking them very seriously, as they should.
But Russo has a hunch about the avalanche of cell phone videos on social media.
I do believe there is a social contagion aspect to this. I'm not saying people aren't seeing drones. I encourage people to send videos in and pictures, but I'll see a video and they'll say, that's a plane landing in Newark Airport.
Morristown is steeped in history. During the Revolution, George Washington had his headquarters here. 250 years later, the 45th and soon-to-be 47th president, Donald Trump, spends a lot of time in the area, too. Just down the road in Bedminster is Trump National Golf Club. It's no wonder why swarms of mysterious drones would be concerning to folks around here. On December 5th, Democratic Governor Phil Murphy tried to reassure New Jerseyans on X. There is no known threat to the public at this time.
I think he's a day late and a dollar short.
Republican Jeff Van Drew is a U.S. congressman from South Jersey.
There was the initial reports, which were more sporadic, but then it got heavy. Then it was obvious. I think he needed to press much harder to get more help here.
Quick question that just came in from Stacy Cole. Asked the question: have any drones been shot down due to the flight ban yet? I haven't heard of any. The answer to that question is no, not one drone has been shot down yet. Here we go.
Zero. Correct.
Not a one. Makes it even more suspicious, Mike.
Oh, you're right, Thomas. I agree.
Some could say it's a cover-up.
Days later,
this is something we're taking deadly seriously.
Murphy sent a more alarming signal.
These are apparently very, as I understand it, very sophisticated. The minute you get eyes on them, they go dark.
But how seriously was the public really taking it? Chris Russo believes that for most around Morristown, swapping theories about the drones is just a parlor game.
I think it's more of a dinner table conversation. I don't think there's hysteria out there saying, oh, it's going to be War of the Worlds, we're done. No, I think a lot of people are simply having fun with it. It's a chance for them to post their videos online.
Brian, the one drone that came down that didn't come down on the highway was seen from the highway. There was one crash, but Mike, we never heard any additional information about that, correct, right? Beyond that initial sighting. There was no acknowledgement by the government, by police, or anyone except the video that we saw that came to us from X and YouTube.
No, you're right, Thomas. There was no confirmation from authorities that they recovered a damn thing. It's like what happened in February with the shoot downs in Alaska and Lake Huron.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting any confirmation from the government that they have anything, that anything came down.
No.
So it's just alleged reports so far from the public.
Yeah.
So they're giving us.
Exactly.
People are frustrated by it. Yeah.
I would say so. You know, when the government denies everything and they don't want to talk about it, you know you're over the target.
That's right. You're absolutely right about that. When they tell you you're losing your mind, there's nothing to see here, that's when you got to worry the most.
Yeah. Misha, thank you for the super chat, Tamisha. I'll double check. The one I thought I saw from you was a different one. Let me continue with this. I'll try and find it, Tamisha. Actually, large car-sized flying crafts spotted over downtown Los Angeles. Okay, that is from YouTube. For some reason, I got an X link to that one. Let me try and find that, Tamisha.
People like to be involved. They want to be a part of whatever the big story is at the moment. That's human nature.
That big story of the moment grabbed the attention of a U.S. congressman from a district 2,000 miles away. Texas Representative Tony Gonzalez.
I spent 20 years in the military as a cryptologist. I spent 5 years flying on P3s. I got 2,000 hours in a P3.
A P3 surveillance plane. So Gonzalez asked about the Jersey drone during a Homeland Security Subcommittee hearing on December 10th. He wasn't happy with the answer.
You're telling me we don't know what the hell these drones are in New Jersey are? Is that correct?
That's right.
It's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. That's madness that we don't know what these drones are. It's an
really quick, the drone that Tamisha had, or the picture, the video of a drone that Tamisha had found in downtown LA is there. It's coming up as a complete black silhouette that you can kind of see here. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of one of the transports that they bring the Emperor and Darth Vader in from Star Wars.
It looks exactly like that. Good eye.
Yeah, because you've got the top one, you've got the two off left to the side, and then you've got the craft that's kind of in there.
The Imperial Shuttle.
Yeah, exactly. So downtown LA, one thing first of all, when's the last time you saw stars over downtown LA?
Oh, with the smog? No.
Just in general. I don't think you would. Yeah, but it looks like Star Wars though. But thank you for sharing that, Tamisha, and thank you for the wonderful super chats, my dear lady. But yeah, I'll shrink it out a little bit more so people can kind of see. Yeah, we've got something they're calling downtown LA. I don't see if it's any recognizable buildings for downtown LA, and this object is flying over it. I've just never seen ever blue stars out over LA. Either way, let me continue with the video. Thank you, Tamisha. I appreciate that. Hey, plot twist, Star Wars is real. Kim Hoffman says. Here we go.
Acceptable answer. I mean, you got to know what's going on. People don't feel safe. And if you don't fill in the truth with the truth, somebody else will fill in the truth with something else. And that's exactly what we're seeing.
Once you actually see, some kind of car-sized vehicle in the sky, you wonder what's going on.
A little nervous because you wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
It just seems weird, like who's watching us?
One theory that got some traction was that the U.S. government had dispatched the drones, potentially to scan for a missing nuclear warhead from Ukraine, a dirty bomb, gamma rays, chemical or biological weapons. That's dark stuff, and it...
You see, Mike? Let me rewind this. What they just said here, we've had so many people going out there saying, how could you say this about potentially it being, what they just said on Fox. We've been saying the same thing.
Right, because we've been covering the trends that are out there, information that's been filtering through, and reporting it to the public like we usually do. We're not saying it's true. No. We're just saying that this is the information currently.
It could be on the bingo card is a really good way to put it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That works.
And for a missing nuclear warhead from Ukraine, a dirty bomb, gamma rays.
Missing nuclear bomb from Ukraine. We've covered that one. Dirty bomb. We covered that one. I don't think we've covered gamma rays yet.
Chemical or biological weapons.
We've said that one too.
Actually, we did. No, we covered the gamma rays because the other day, if you remember, the story that we talked about in regards to the missing nuclear material from New Jersey, that emits gamma rays.
Oh.
And could be used in a dirty
right, but they were showing gamma rays.
Right,
but they were showing gamma rays like from a burst coming from a magnetar or something like that, or a black hole that would be hitting the planet. But either way, true chemicals. They could have been sniffing for that. We said so. We've had our finger on the pulse on this for some time.
The entire time.
Yeah,
we've been staying on top of it. Correct, Thomas.
There we go.
That's dark stuff, and it doesn't add up to Brett Velikovich, a former U.S. intelligence operative and special ops soldier.
I highly doubt that is what it's for. You can use drone technology to sniff out frequencies and radiation in the air, but I work pretty closely with DTRA, the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, which is really in charge of going after things like this, and they don't really need to use drones for that. There's a lot of sensors around the world that can detect it.
Or perhaps a Pentagon training exercise for the U.S. military.
I find it hard to believe that there's some super secret project in the works, especially because I used to work on a lot of these projects. I used to test our own military's defenses with drone technology, and pretty much every time we would do that type of testing, we would inform some sort of law enforcement along the chain.
Some considered if the drones were sent by the newest branch of the U.S. military, Space Force.
I think Space Force is trying to focus on the GPS satellites that it currently has. Drones probably don't make the radar for them either.
Okay, forget about the U.S. government. Could the drone hubbub be an ill-conceived marketing ploy by some high-tech startup?
I'm not too sure, but I'm interested. I'm eager to know more. Right? What is it? What is the do you want to know more? Yeah. Do I want to know more? Yes, I do.
Or what if it's just a bunch of hobbyists? That seems likely to Chris Russo, who has some technical experience in this field too. 15 years ago, he and a friend single-handedly created...
There goes the music. Let me get past Chris Russo, because we know what we're dealing with here is not consumer drones, and I'm not going to listen to that bullshit.
And it was us.
Technology has advanced since Russo perpetrated his hoax. What's really made the drone story take off, he says, is now every man, woman, and child carries a high-quality digital camera in their pocket.
Right, but also the drones we're talking about are not your average drones that it can be picked up by a consumer at Walmart or at your local gas station or from Amazon. We're talking about drones, once again, that were the size of an SUV. Not quite consumer drones. So we have these people coming out with the spooky music. Shame on the producers for trying to push that off. Let's get on to our next bit of this. Here we go. Sorry.
That's when Congressman Van Drew dropped a bomb on Harris Faulkner's Fox News show. A big one.
From very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources. I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America.
It was a shocking and frightening theory.
They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Know that Iran made a deal with China to purchase drones, motherships, and technology in order to go forward. These drones should be shot down.
When Representative Drew mentioned that he had information saying it was the Iranians, I thought that was one of the more plausible things taking place.
Just hours later, however, the Pentagon shot down the Van Drew story.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
The cavalier way where the deputy press secretary for the Pentagon almost said the supposed motherships. Nobody's using that term to try to say that they're UAPs or UFOs. That is what they are called in that world. In the technology of drones, of UAs, they are called motherships, which refer to a ship that exists that these drones can be hidden, they can fly off of, they can fly back to.
But Van Drew isn't apologizing for going public with his Iran tip.
Am I glad I did that? Absolutely. Two reasons. One, it really put a fire under their backsides to get going and to do something and bring this out. What it also did is inform people of information they didn't know. And, I want to be clear, and perhaps I wasn't clear enough then. I couldn't guarantee that it was true. Is it a possibility? Absolutely. But these were individuals that are involved, that have top security clearance. Multiple sources that came to me because they felt that I'd be an honest broker, and quite frankly that I'd have the guts to say, hey, this is something we should look at. I don't know, and I said all along when it came out, people questioned me more, that I hope it wasn't true, and I really didn't.
We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat, or have a foreign nexus.
On December 12th, White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby took to the podium.
Using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities, we have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. There are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace.
The problem is nobody trusts the Biden administration right now, so how can you believe when John Kirby comes out and says there's nothing to see here? So I totally understand the American people thinking this is just yet another cover-up.
This is shocking, okay? And I'm not the only person who feels this way. This was happening at Langley a month ago, okay? These people are not crazy. They're seeing these things with their own eyes. This is not normal behavior. They are not planes that are coming in one direction and they're heading into Newark Airport and then they're landing, okay? We spend $824 billion on defense. We have the greatest intelligent capability in the world. So how can you stand there and say to the country right now, gosh darn, we just don't know what these are?
Because I'm not going to lie to you or to the American people, and I'm not going to say we know something when we don't.
There are so many things that the American public was told that's not accurate. Joe Biden is fine, he's well, has no cognitive problems at all. How about when, it came out that there was a laptop that Hunter Biden had? They trotted out over 50 former intel officers who all said that's absolutely not true, it is a lie, it never happened. How about when the FBI originally said we were never going to send anybody into traditional Roman Catholic churches and traditional churches because we thought they were domestic terrorists until we got the emails communicating that from the Virginia field office? How about Russian collusion?
This drone situation goes to a much deeper issue, and that's the fact that the Biden administration has eroded the trust of the American people and the transparency due to the American people, and it's going to be on President Trump to regain that.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, they happen to be over Bedminster.
We should know
they're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
He's right. My God, if they don't know more than they're telling us, they are stupid. And they could be a combination of stupid and a cover-up, because if it's a cover-up, boy, they're doing a bad job.
As we look at the information we've got, Brett, and we've now examined some 5,000 different sightings, we've added detection capabilities, additional observers. As you and I stand here today, to date, our assessment is that this is lawful, legal, commercial, hobbyist, and even law enforcement aircraft activity. Some of it's manned, some of it's unmanned. It is legal to fly drones in non-restricted airspace as long as you're registered with the FAA, and there's thousands and thousands of these kinds of flights every single day. I think there's more than 1 million drones that are registered with the FAA just in the United States alone. We have seen nothing that indicates a public safety risk, and we've seen nothing in and around New Jersey.
Over New Jersey. What's behind all of this? Nothing nefarious, apparently.
When President Biden finally spoke a week before Christmas, he suggested Americans had nothing to fear but fear itself.
There's a lot of drones authorized up there. I think one started and they all got it. Everybody's wanting to get in the deal. But we're following them too closely. So far, no sense of the danger.
Will we ever know the truth? Eventually, Gonzalez says.
If you allow some bureaucrat to get in front of a podium and say, oh, this is what's happening, and we all just, take it as gospel, then it goes away. But if we push for the, to have a more in-depth response, then we'll absolutely get the truth. I feel comfortable about that.
Back in Morristown, Councilman Chris Russo is simply calling for calm, at least until after the holidays.
We got Christmas Eve coming up, especially on that night. If you see something flying by, maybe a little blinking red light.
Look at that.
That's Rudolph's nose. Don't shoot at it. They're just delivering presents. There's nothing nefarious there. Let them do their thing.
Something to keep in mind as you look up at the skies over the holidays.
Look up, for that matter. Mike, interesting video to watch tonight, huh? This accidentally got downloaded from our friends at Fox News when I was trying to grab another story, but I think it was a good summary of a lot of things we've been seeing.
For, the entire time that this flap has been going on. These are all the points that we have made repeatedly on previous shows. I agree. It's a good wrap-up.
Yeah, exactly. One of those things you see and you just have to go ahead and jump at it and go towards it. Any comments from the audience is making a bunch of comments. Any comments or questions from our friends in the back? We've got a bunch of you there today. 12, actually 11 of you, not counting me and Mike. They're so quiet today, Mike.
It's the holidays.
It's either food coma or hangover.
I would say food coma, but more than likely.
Exactly. Freezer Man 71, you have your hand up, my friend.
My question is, do these politicians really believe the public is that stupid that they're going to continue to believe what they're trying to push?
Yes, they do.
That's very unfortunate.
It is. You're right. I agree. But this is what you can expect from our federal government. That's how it's been for decades now. Nothing new. It's not really a shock or a surprise, but it is what it is. Hopefully, in the weeks ahead, there might be different changes that we can look forward to. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. It's going to be one step at a time for us to get there. Ed Brown, you have your hand up, my friend.
Your mute button is on.
I guess I got to unmute myself there. I was going to go for food comma myself, but let's talk seriously about what we might see in the future. A lot of people are now bringing up the date, the 25th of January, the date the planets all line up, as possibly something we might see a lot more. And I see that puzzled look on your face, Thomas, but if there is an intent to bring out, the awareness of these things, a great time to do it would be when everyone's looking up in the sky. And January 25th would be a good day to be doing that.
Take a look and see where it's at. Nope, it's still down below the horizon right now. I've got an app on my iPhone called Galactic Center. Galactic Center is a free application that's available for your iPhone. And what it actually does is it actually brings up and it'll give you an arrow pointing to show you to where the center of the Milky Way galaxy is. The reason why it's important, Ed, is the majority of UFOs that are seen is when the center of the Milky Way galaxy is between somewhere between the two, if you want to call it, sunrise and sunset. So basically, it has to be somewhere overhead where you're at. And when you get those sightings, when it's there, it's not just, it's daytime and nighttime that we'll see a bunch of different crafts. So if that's going to be going on, best thing to do is get out the app, take a look and see where the perihelion is going to be, I believe that's the word, of the Milky Way galaxy is, to see if it's going to be in there. And if it is, something could go on.
So remember, that's also looking at it from the galactic point of view, the entire galaxy. More locally centered would be our solar system view, where the 7 planets all line up.
Right, but there's something that goes on when the surface of the planet is facing the center of the galaxy. That's just something different that goes beyond the alignment of our solar systems. This is on a much larger scale. But yeah, if something goes on with the alignment, potentially we could have some big earthquakes.
And I think there's a good chance between now and the end of January that we're going to see several things that are going to really catch our attention. And we've already pointed this out. Today was a day where sightings were very low. Well, everyone's inside eating turkey and Christmas meal. But the more people are looking up, the more sightings we're going to get. I think it's just going to explode during those periods where we're going to be looking up for astronomical changes.
Yeah. Good point, Ed. And maybe we'll have something come up. Mark the calendar. We'll keep an eye out for it. And if something happens, we'll be here to report it. I appreciate that thought, Ed. Some other people, though, since you're up, have been talking about, I know Nick was talking about that sometime in 2025, there's going to be bigger craft coming to the planet. There's been a lot of people talking about that. Again, there's a lot of speculation going out there. So, again, don't get yourself worked up. Don't be afraid of what could potentially happen. Wait until that point gets there. When it happens, don't be afraid. I thought someone else in their back had their hands up. Nick, go ahead.
Yes, but if a alien like invasion does happen, I think the human race is actually ready for that, Thomas. I don't think they're ready for alien invasion.
Oh,
I don't think they would. I mean, are there like enough guns for the average American to kill off the aliens? If it comes to it,
If an invasion happens, we're going to be like, we're going to be the American Indians version of the invasion, meaning we're getting invaded. And it's anytime there's an invasion from a higher advanced civilization, it never goes good for those who weren't that advanced. So I don't think if we took all of our weapons and brought them together, they'd actually make a dent in potentially what could be coming our way if something big happens.
Like, do you believe that it could cause mass panic, Thomas? It could cause mass panic if the alien invasion does happen. Like, everyone will be afraid, and everyone like going to be like freaking out and robbing the stores.
Are they just coming out to say hello, or are they coming in and blowing things up and gonna take over the planet? Yeah, we don't stand a chance. Now, if it was a massive war against the planet to go ahead and purge the Earth of humanity, of course, people are gonna freak out. I would. Not really. I would take it with a grain of salt and get myself to safety if there is such a word of safety, if that event ever happens. Mike, what would you do if that happened?
Well, number one, like we went through recently with the pandemic, you're going to have to ensure you're stocked up on enough supplies just to survive.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, look for what could possibly be a safe haven to protect our friends and family from the onslaught that would be coming. Yeah. But that's all common sense. So,
of course.
I think everybody would be doing that, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. There's been a lot of projected dates that have come and passed when things were going to go on. Yes, John Pilgrim, underground, with many feet of concrete, if that would stop them, between you and them. But then you're going to be limited in the amount of oxygen and food and water you're going to have before. That's a messy scenario, to say the least. Well,
speaking of messy, let's not even think about the sanitation problems that would create underground in a small tube.
Oh, yeah. It would start to pile up, wouldn't it?
It would. Oh, it would. And people would have trouble breathing at one point. It would just be not not comfortable for the environment, for anybody.
Exactly. So it sounds like some people would love to have an alien invasion for Christmas. Now, that was not on my bingo card, though.
No. Wasn't on mine either.
No, not at all. If any of you noticed, when we had the last video up and going, I had the I had this little animation that Brian Rommel had posted on Twitter showing potentially how could some of these drones have actually been launched out of something like a cargo plane. And they actually came up with a pretty snazzy 3D animation of this, Mike, showing you could have a plane going out there with all these particular craft. They could launch them wherever they want, go off and do their things. And then the only problem is they're going to have to go back and land somewhere at the end of the day.
They would, because they wouldn't be able to go back to their return to base. They'd have to find an alternate location on the ground, which would make them vulnerable if they weren't able to refuel or fly back up. Yeah. So, it's an interesting scenario. I don't think it's realistic, to be honest with you.
No, but it's cool to look at, though.
Oh, it is.
On that note, our last, well, maybe not our last story. This is actually coming to us, I believe, yesterday from Fox News. I just found it this morning in my perusing. Let's go ahead and play this last one. We got a good overview. This is just more about state and local officials are still demanding answers about that drone situation that went on. Let's see where it takes us.
Brett Velkovich is a Fox News contributor. He's a drone expert, former Delta Force, former Army Special Operations soldier. Bottom line, you don't mess with Brett. So, Brett, help me with this here. A lot of authorities, they're giving a little bit more information, not a lot more information. As a New Jersey resident, I can tell you that is not satisfying a lot of fellow Garden Staters who feel that someone's lying to them or hiding stuff from them. What do you say?
Well, that's the problem, right? Is America right now lacks a lot of faith in our own government institutions. So anything they come out and say, even if it's the truth, it's going to be pretty hard to believe. They've got a credibility issue right now. And I don't think that much is going to come out of these classified briefings, or we're going to really learn too much more information. This may never get solved because, frankly, I think the U.S. government doesn't have any clue what they're doing. And the general public right now is starting to get more educated on drone technology over the last couple of weeks and starting to ask the real tough questions of our elected leaders that they just can't answer. And I see this day in and day out, Neil, and that's why I'm particularly focused on getting our government to change the structure with our national security policies to employ more counter-drone electronic warfare systems across the board to protect American citizens. And there are ways to do that safely and not invade privacy, because we have major flaws in our drone industry that have been perpetuated by agencies who keep kicking the can down on the road with these authorities. It's almost as if they're waiting for someone to attack us with explosives on these drones before anything is done. Our industrial base for manufacturing new drones and counter-drone technology in the U.S. has nearly been destroyed due to over-regulation by the FAA. Our government has set us back years behind China and Russia because of these limitations. And every day I'm realizing more and more our law enforcement entities don't know how to stop a crisis like this.
So, Brett, you'll tolerate a couple of dumb questions from me here, but what's confusing a lot of people and what we're told is happening is a lot of folks are mistaking airplanes for drones and vice versa. I don't know how many, but give us a quick tutorial on that. What is the difference? Why are they so easily confused?
Well, they're easily confused because more people are looking up in the air, quite frankly. A lot of people don't realize that there are thousands of drones that fly over the United States every single day. Not all of them are nefarious, but we've got a larger issue here because this isn't, just about some unauthorized drones that are flying around. This potentially is a problem that's going to start affecting our economy if these drones are flying in sensitive sites or over airports. You have airports right now with thousands of holiday travelers, which these airports can be shut down if they determine that there's a drone threat. There was a drone event that occurred pre-Christmas during flights out of London's Gatwick Airport in 2019, and it cost the airlines over $64 million from that airport being shut down just one day. And the current administration right now, look, they can fix this problem, and we have the technology to fix this problem. It's just not widespread, and they've essentially been saying that, hey, we've got a problem, we're just not willing to fix it. You've got too many agencies with different authorities. Every time, a lot of people get shut down when they're trying to do something or innovate, and we need this whole of government approach to fix this problem fast. And I know the administration doesn't necessarily like DOD working on our soil, but frankly, the DOD has the best technology right now on the planet to do this. And we're sending a lot of that stuff overseas instead of using it to protect our own people. And I want to say one more thing, and this has to do with Ukraine. Most people know I'm a fan of Ukraine, but we need to stop sending money to Ukraine to build up their drone technology base. We are sending hundreds of millions of dollars that goes to the development and employment of Ukrainian drone technology that is better than U.S. technology. They have better tech than us right now, and we're paying for it. So that's a big problem, and we need to fix our industrial base here and make us, again, the powerhouse on drones.
Yeah, and maybe if this is the catalyst to do it, so be it. Brett, thank you very much, my friend.
There you go. Not one last story to end out the Christmas season, Mike, on drones. We've been droning, and a lot of people are seeing stuff like the one video footage I was bringing up where there was something that was low over the houses over in I believe, New Jersey. And this is a pretty low-flying craft that they're showing that's also making really, really tight turns that you're not going to be seeing going on with a commercial airliner. Correct, Mike?
Oh, there's no way in hell a commercial airliner could make a tight turn like this drone has been doing.
Right.
We also had a witness came on the show, last guest today, over Pennsylvania. She was telling us that she heard these things over her home, and she could hear the noise from the rotors.
Now, this one actually has noise going on it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're playing the creepy music, so forget about that. But you can see how much of a tight turn this is going, and it's moving pretty slow for a commercial airliner, if that would be it. So either way, we're looking at something that you just got to look at sometimes and understand that, yeah, there's some things up in the sky. Our government isn't necessarily telling us the truth on this stuff. But again, these are not the drones that our government has been talking about and denying, correct?
Oh, absolutely. It's not civilian drones. It's not hobbyists. We're not imagining it, and it's not commercial flights going near airports like Kirby and the government has been claiming. We know better. The public knows better. It's just common sense. We got a super chat from CB.
Oh, CB USMC, thank you very much. Merry Christmas, and thank you for that wonderful super chat. We appreciate that. And it looks like our friend Kron is joining the back again, Mike, and he has his hand up. Kron, go ahead. You need to unmute yourself.
Merry Christmas, Kron. Thanks for joining.
Happy holidays. Can you hear me okay?
We got you.
We hear you now.
Yes. Just a quick observation. I noticed in none of these drone or alleged drone videos, we've never seen anything with rotors. Have we seen anything with rotors?
Yes, there have been ones that look like a quadcopter, an agricultural quadcopter. We've also seen ones that look like helicopters. If you want to see those, just go ahead and look at Stephen Greenstreet's videos. He's always posting videos of things that are easily identified versus like the video of the craft that I just showed you.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, it's something I wish we could go ahead and figure out and get an answer for everybody, but when the government clearly knows what's going on and they're unwilling to go ahead and give us any answers, it's hard to get to any particular point or to bring out the truth for that matter because it's a cover-up. Now, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I agree with you, Thomas, it's a big cover-up because why would we be here 3 months later with no answers and still a uncooperative White House? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, we can find a guy who shoots a CEO, but we can't find out the origin or a detailed, clear picture of a drone. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, it's one of those things, I guess you could say. It could be the reason why when we were voting who is the Grinch who stole disclosure, came to the head of the White House. That would be Joe Biden, because it's been the Biden administration who's been unwilling to share any information about UFOs to bring out the truth. Yes, we have RO, but RO has turned into basically just yet another cover-up what's out there. If you remember, after we had the shoot-downs of the UFOs that happened last year in Dead Horse, a year ago in January, in Dead Horse, Alaska, followed by the Yukon, and then over Lake Huron, Jake Sullivan was put together a task force to go ahead and figure out these sightings, what they are, to look into these unidentified things we're seeing in the sky. And you know what? We've never heard anything except that one time from Joe Biden where he said, ask Barack. So actually, he did make one statement on the drone out on that instance, but he said, we're looking into it and we'll let the American people know. But they never told us, did they?
Yeah, they never told us, and it's. I think we're getting to the point where either the United States government is afraid of these drones, or they're operating them, and there's no in between.
Yeah. Well, these drones on the East Coast, yes, don't forget, we have to keep that separate from the drones that we see happening over our military bases in the United States and in other countries all around the world, for that matter. And when that's going on, yeah, there's like two different types of things. One is on the East Coast. We'll put that in a bucket. The ones that are going over New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Maryland, all the way down to Virginia and stuff. That's in its own bucket, if you want to call it, of sightings that we've seen. The other stuff going over military bases that are like what happened at Langley, and there was no potential way for them to go ahead and try and shoot any of these craft down. Nothing would work. They couldn't use their drone busters on them, and they didn't pick up any kind of technology. They couldn't see them with their stuff. Those are, if you want to call it, even coming from a foreign adversary on the planet, human-based. Or we could be looking at something that's not a traditional drone, and they're just calling it that, because it seems that all instances of what would be orbs or UFOs that are going over our military installations, all of a sudden, they've become drones now, haven't they?
Yes, all of a sudden, drones is the new keyword for anything that's flying.
Yeah.
And non-explainable. Now, just get to my last point of, some of the points that you are making. It kind of makes sense that whatever the next war will be, it will be in the sky. and it will be many things we can't identify.
Right.
Don't you think so?
I think our government won't be able to identify it. Us as regular citizens may not be able to be able to understand it, but our government has been watching this stuff in our skies since before 1947. And, they have the technology. You hear about the stuff that David Grush has talked about in the past. Lou's talked about it. Other people, what are the capabilities we have from the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency? What are the capabilities we have coming from all of our different armed services, like, for instance, the Air Force or the Space Force? We have all these different agencies, the CIA, et cetera, the NRO, all these agencies that are watching everything in the sky, that they're going to know what's happening potentially. But I guess it comes down to, if anything happens now between now and January 20th, I have a feeling it's going to be a tight cover-up. But potentially what we have coming up after that time frame, I think we're going to be dealing with an administration that has more of an open perspective and is willing to have more of an open dialogue with the American people and the people from the world that matter about what everybody has been seeing in the skies for so long.
I agree with you. And now you just bring up one more question for me, Thomas. I'm realizing, okay, let's talk about the East Coast drones, right? You segmented them into buckets. Now, those drones did not want to be observed. They didn't want to be seen. They would go dark, right? We know that behavior pattern, correct?
Sometimes they would go dark, but not always, yes.
Okay, so if they are going dark, that means that they don't want to be seen. So what happens when we finally see, when the big reveal comes and the government can't deny, or, something in daylight and there's a clear shot, finally, where do we go from then? Or do you think this will happen when Trump takes office?
Do we think something's going to go on in the next 4 years? There's a lot of people talking about stuff going on in 2025. People are talking about things potentially going on in 2027 or later. I just have a feeling that based on having John Ratcliffe, who is a former ODNI, the Director of National Intelligence, he talked about it in the past, in January, and I believe it was in late January, after the Trump administration had moved office and Biden administration took over, saying this came to us later in the administration. We tried to work to get the information out to the American people, but we ran out of time. Now, he's now the head of the CIA. And if you remember, the Office of Global, is it Access, Mike? OGA?
Yeah, OGA. Correct, Thomas.
Yeah, they're an office in the CIA that has been involved with crash retrievals, purportedly.
Right.
And it was also someone from the CIA who actually blocked the transfer of a non-human intelligence craft to Bigelow Aerospace as part of the OSAP program. So the CIA has got a lot of claws into this, and with that new leader of the CIA, plus the president we have in, plus the other people like Vivek Ramaswamy, who's probably got that wrong, but Vivek, who's heading up the Office of Department of Government Efficiency, another person who wants to bring out the truth. And Trump's a Republican, and a lot of people from the House of Representatives have had conversations. And plus, Trump has been asked, he said this is probably one of the most popular questions he's been asked by different people when he was running for office, if he would be willing to bring out the truth. So I think we're in a good place, potentially, for the next 4 years. Time will tell. You never know.
At the very least, in regards to this drone issue that we've been covering, he already said publicly, President Trump, that the government does know where these objects are coming from, who's behind them, and where they're going.
Yeah.
And the current administration has not shed any light on it. You can guarantee that when he takes office, whatever the government has been hiding this entire time is probably going to be made public. At the very least, the motivation for him to do it is going to be to smear the Democratic Party. And he'll tell us exactly what it is that they did not want us to know up until this point, just to put their face in the dirt. So it doesn't matter what the motivations are. At one point, we're going to get to the truth as far as what it is that's been going on the whole time. And I can't wait, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You know, some bullshit may come to light as well. You know, it's kind of like dealing with Trump is like dealing with a double-edged sword. Sometimes you'll hear things that you like, and other times it's like that uncle who had a bit too much to drink at a party who can't shut up, and it just keeps on going on and saying, "Oh my God, just stop talking for a minute, please."
Exactly. No, you hit the nail on the head with that one. That's exactly what it is. We're going to get 4 more years of that. But if we could filter through the nonsense and pay attention to the facts and what's important, what matters, I think we're going to probably gain some more ground than we have in a long time lately with this.
Yeah.
Hopefully. At least we'll know what the hell was flying overhead that we've been covering this whole time at one point. I'd really like to know what these drones were all about.
I think everyone in our country would like to go and understand what the drones are about, because we've had people call into the show. They're afraid. They're in fear for themselves and their family. They're not sure what they should do, how they should handle it. And what we've been saying all along is just step back, hold on a minute, take a deep breath.
Panic.
Don't worry about it. You're hearing a lot of speculation going on. You're hearing a lot of people trying to ramp up the fear. And we've just talked about, here are the possible scenarios that it could be. So you know what? Until we know what it is, don't worry about it. But most importantly, be aware of it. Keep your eyes open to it. Listen, read, see what's going on. Watch podcasts like Disclosure Tonight or something to that degree. But if something goes wrong, fear is the last thing that anybody should have, because when you're afraid, you're not making the best judgment. You're going to make rash decisions. You haven't planned anything out, and you're probably going to get yourself into a place that you shouldn't be. So fear is something we should always work against. Plus, people say that the non-human intelligence feeds on our fear. So even more.
Right. So we're going to find out soon enough. Everyone needs to be patient, get through the holidays, get through the end of the year. And the answers, I feel, for a lot of things are going to be around the corner. And we're going to explore every one of them as they come out.
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
I think that would be a good one. Just going through UFO Twitter now, trying to see what's out there. Yeah, it's Christmas evening. Everything's quiet out there right now. I did see an interesting picture of a bird flying around that was flashing like a drone, but that was definitely added in post-production. But yeah, it's one of those things we just have to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no cause for alarm. Everybody should enjoy the holidays and the time away from school and work and all of the other things, and make the best of this time and wait to see what comes next. It's all any of us can do, I believe, at this point.
Hopefully everyone has had a nice holiday. They've all had times with family, at least a day off of work, if not more. Personally, I'm off until the 6th of January, so looking forward to that one. And I still have 21 days of vacation left before the end of the year.
You never know. Might come in handy with what comes next for 2025.
Yeah. You never know what's going to hit next. Let me see what our audience is saying. Okay, someone's saying, I'm more concerned about the chemtrails than I am about drones. Chemtrails, yeah, a lot of times what you're seeing is contrails, which aren't chemtrails. Contrails are when you have a jet engine operating at a specific altitude, and there's a specific amount of moisture in the sky, that they'll go ahead and it'll condense the air as it goes through the jet engines, and it causes the contrails behind the jet engines. A lot of people want to go ahead and say it's contrails. They're putting, chemicals into our atmosphere. Well, if they are, and if that really was happening, I'd say potentially, if it was happening, that could be for a geoengineering, potentially for the non-human intelligence who wants to take over the planet. You never know what kind of dirty deals our government could have made, Mike.
No, there's no way to know. But at one point, we may eventually find out. It'll definitely be interesting either way.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
Speaking of that, you wouldn't believe what video just popped up in my Twitter feed as I was scrolling along trying to find something for the show. Let me bring it up really quick. Where is that at? Document solo. Here we go. Look. It's a bunch of contrails in the sky. Clearly someone who lives near a major airport.
Obviously.
Yeah. So, again, you see stuff like this in the sky, don't worry about it. It's a contrail. We're not throwing chemicals up in the air to go ahead and poison everybody. At least, hopefully not.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
And things have died down. So, you know what? Everybody should really enjoy this time off and make the best of it. And even with this drone issue, it's gotten quiet. So use that time to reflect and enjoy, and we'll see what the new year holds.
Yeah. And if there's anybody who's watching and haven't subscribed yet, yes, we've pissed off some viewers lately who are of the Democrat persuasion, true blues, because of some of the stuff we had said about, well, the audience actually voted who was the Grinch who stole disclosure. That was Biden. So if you're having a good time, sorry about that if that set you off. But you know what? We should be able to talk about what's going on in Washington, because the presidency, the executive branch, is the organization that's in charge of disclosure. They've been the ones who have been covering it up. We've been trying to get stuff to go on in Congress, and it ain't happening with Congress. So we just have to go ahead and hope that whoever we get into the White House is going to play along for disclosure.
Yeah, anything would be a vast improvement from what we've had so far.
Yeah.
So something is always better than nothing, Thomas.
Oh, you better believe it, my friend. It's one of those things you just have to take a look at and just try and get there. We said it was going to be a slow show today. Mike, is there anything else we haven't covered today? I don't think we want to see someone video recording a Bigfoot on their roof in South Carolina, do we?
No, that's spaced out radio. We'll leave that for them.
Exactly. On that note, let me go ahead and bring this up. I want to thank everybody for your wonderful super chats tonight on Disclosure tonight. Merry Christmas, everybody. Especially, I want to thank the people who gave us super chats tonight, including Don Fitzpatrick. The dogs are asleep upstairs on the couch watching Luke play video games. CBUSMC is here along with Tamisha Bertrand. We have Eric Roth and the Gurus. Thank you very much for your super chat. Overlander BC. We had Ian Harding, and Shelley Montgomery. Thank you very much for your wonderful super chats. More importantly, I want to thank our friends who have been in the chat today. Who am I talking about? Let's go ahead. Oh, list is there. It's not too long. I can handle it. Let's go ahead and thank Joanne, Mood Care, Andrianne, Alex Lewis. Mike, keep your eyes and ears open. Anton Ghost, BW Broom. We got Buff. Who else is there? Let's think. Carlito's Way. Christina's been here. Craig Smith, Cypher75. David Hacker's been around, along with Deborah S. Drift Speed, Drone Shots, Eli McGinnis. We've had Ernie here, along with F. Phantom, Faceless, Fink Ployd. We've also had Gene Hess, Gray Hair Discoveries, Jay Hardsty, also James Matheson. Haven't seen you in a bit. Welcome back, James. We had Jan here, Jared Scott, Jessica. How about that? Let me change off the music across to that one. Who else we had out there? We had John Karchia. Also John Mooner. John Pilgrim. Is it John Pilgrim? Yeah, John Pilgrim. Joseph Wilson. Just saying hi. Kelly Burrow with those piercing blue eyes. We had Larry Jackson, Miami. Margaret Leach has been here. Marcus and the Mandels. Mary has been here along with Matt Williams. We had Matt Metal Gaming all the way from Denmark. Moon Pie. Mr. Catfish 2100. Europe. Nancy Kuzmano. Nightshade Giggle. We had Paul Cabazola. Oh, no, by the way, if you haven't given us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, please do. If you're still hanging out and still watching, haven't done so yet. Let's thanks Pete Liebel, Pinky Witch 50, Q Essence, Rabbit Leader 230, Rainstorm Hunter, Ralph G, Rebecca Curry. We had Romeo 7 Smith, Sam Wallace, Shelley Montgomery, Sky Dozer, FPV, Solaris 142, and Sprightly Sprites, Gemstone Crystal, Mineral Magic. Let's thank Stargazer 46 and 2 for showing up, as well as Starboard, Troy, Vic Vancouver, Warren and Chrisaro, Waz Andrew, Wesley Sissons, and Yankee 58. How about that? But I also want to thank our friends in the back who have been with us tonight and asked us some questions. CBUSMC, thanks for coming in tonight. Thanks for your question.
Thank you, sir.
Corporal Abe, thanks for being here.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. Ed Brown, thanks for your question.
Yeah, it's good being with you tonight, Thomas, and my good night to you. We will see you on the next show.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming in, Ed. Also want to go ahead and thank FreezerMan71.
You're welcome, Thomas. Have a great night, guys.
You too, my friend. Also want to thank None of Your Business. Appreciate the humor tonight, my friend. Thanks for taking it.
All right, Thomas, it's a big toilet roll just for you here, right here.
Thank you,
just
my friend. I love you, my friend. Also want to thank TBT. Thanks for coming out. Well, and that takes us back to Mike, Disclosure, thanks for coming out, my friend. Appreciate you being here.
Oh, my pleasure. We had to celebrate the Christmas cheer for our audience, tell them what's currently going on, and basically also let them know they need to enjoy this time of the end of the year on the holidays and not let any of this other stuff going on stress anybody out.
Exactly. And as we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
They're going out of business. Get out there soon, friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. I'll come back now. Here. Bye-bye.